Hi, I'm Mark, and this is Let's Vibe, the channel all about crystals and our feelings. So, I felt inspired. First of all, it's been just over a month since I did my last video on smoky quartz. And in that video, I talked about Capricorn and Saturn and my own Saturn transit that I went through this past year and some of the challenges of that. But as I was making the video, I knew, like in the back of my mind, I knew that Saturn transit wasn't quite over. And sure enough, January saw kind of like the final phase of processing, healing, releasing, stepping through some, moving through fear, moving through a lot of tumultuous emotions and feeling very vulnerable, feeling very kind of unstable in a way, like energetically. Really a feeling of stepping out into new territory, unknown territory. That's kind of the energy that I was moving through in the month of January. And so, yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. And that's really why I didn't make any videos for that whole month, because I just, it's, the energy was just intense. And when it's like that, I usually don't make videos for YouTube. Anyway, but now that it's the very beginning of February, I wanted to talk about a very special type of garnet. And this garnet is appropriate for the month of February because this garnet is a stone of Aquarius, which you might think is a kind of unusual for a garnet. But this type of garnet, as you can see, this is a vibrant green, a deep green color. This is a very special and very rare variety of garnet called Uvarovite. Let's see if I can catch some of the... So I know it just kind of looks like rough green stone, but it's actually hundreds of tiny crystals. You can see little glimmers there, but in full sunlight, in full sunlight, you can see all the tiny little crystals, and it's shiny, it's sparkly, not shiny, but sparkly. So very beautiful stone, very beautiful, deep green variety of garnet. And the green color comes from the presence of chromium within its chemical structure. So this stone, as I mentioned, it's associated with Aquarius because this stone, first of all, this is very much a heart chakra centered stone. This stone is about opening up, opening the heart chakra and opening up to abundance, opening up to life, opening up to receive from source or from the universe. So the stone is very heart-centered, but it is also very earth-based with that deep green color. And so it's very grounding as well. Definitely protective, energetically protective. When I wear this, so I found this pendant online. I got it at a decent price, although Uvarovite definitely is going to be more expensive, one of the more expensive types of garnet, because it's much rarer. It's the rarest form of garnet. But it is found around the world. It's found, I don't know if it was first found in Russia, but it is found in Russia. A lot of it has come from Finland. Some has been found in the US, South Africa, many different places. So when I wear this stone, it's a feeling of grounded openness. It's a feeling of I think it imparts a feeling, a sense of safety and security that allows you to open up and to be receptive. Uvarovite is also a stone of individuality, and this is where that Aquarian aspect comes in. So this stone aids you in fostering and cultivating your own uniqueness, your own individual self, and all of your idiosyncrasies and quirks, and the things you're passionate about, and just who you are. This stone helps you embrace who you are. And it helps you to maintain that individuality and uniqueness even when you're among groups of people. Whether it's your family or your group of friends or your coworkers, Uvarovite can help you maintain your unique sense of self among other people, which I personally find very, very helpful, because I tend to very easily pick up other people's feelings and energies, and so it's taken me a lot of time and work to build boundaries and create new boundaries for myself. And Uvarovite, I think, really helps in the creation of boundaries like that. Boundaries separating, who I am from who you are and who they are, and on and on. Yeah, this is a very earthy kind of stone. It's very masculine. This is a masculine kind of earth stone. And I know I mentioned, opening up to receive, which is, a feminine type of action, but this stone kind of provides the energy, the push, the momentum to open up. And I feel like that's where the masculine energy is seen in it. And so I feel it's quite a masculine earth stone. And, Aquarius is a masculine sign of the zodiac. All the zodiac signs can be described as masculine or feminine, or actually Aquarius could even be like non-binary, I think. But I think traditionally it's considered a masculine sign. Anyway, another thing that I love about this stone is its history. So in the early to mid 1800s, this stone was discovered by a thermochemist, a chemist. His name was Germain Henri S. His German name, or his Russian name, because he lived in St. Petersburg, his Russian name was German Ivanovich Gis. So he lived and worked in St. Petersburg. He came from Switzerland originally, which at the time was called the Helvetic Republic. And yeah, he studied chemistry. I think he became a doctor, or he got his doctorate. He moved to St. Petersburg, and I think this was during the beginning years or beginning decades of St. Petersburg as the capital of what was Russia at the time. So this was during the reign of Tsar Nicholas the First. What am I saying? Yeah, Nicholas the First. Don't quote me. Anywho, so I have a personal love and connection with St. Petersburg because I spent some time there. I did some volunteer work there. I taught ESL, and I fell in love with St. Petersburg. I have this strangely deep and very emotional connection with that city. There was something so special about it for me. You know, when I was there, I spent a total of a full year living there. And as I was there, I really felt as if I was at home, but obviously it's not where I'm from, and I had never been there before, but I felt like I was at home. It was very interesting, it intrigued me. So I love that this stone has connections with St. Petersburg and the history of and Russian history, you know, from that city. And so this man, Germain, he found this stone, Uvarovite, and he named it Uvarovite after this famous Russian statesman who also was living and working in St. Petersburg for the Tsar. And this statesman's name was Sergei Semyonovich Uvarov. Yeah. Sergei Semyonovich Uvarov. And I read his short bio in Wikipedia. Very interesting man. Openly gay. That's pretty surprising. And yeah, he was famous for his scholarly works. Just a very highly educated, intelligent man. But it was interesting because he kind of had this you know, when you read Russian history, they really have always had, the people of Russia have dealt with censorship and the tight control of education and information by the government. You know, that's not just a communist government thing. I think in America we tend to associate the communism of the Soviet Union with repression of information, censorship, and all that. But when you read Russian history, you come to find out, it's actually been like that for a long time. Long before communism, the czars imposed their own restrictions and their own censorship, and they held, you know, tight control over things. And so during Tsar Nicholas I's reign, this man, Uvarov, worked in the education department for the city. And on the one hand, he kind of laid the foundations for higher education in Russia, like high quality education. But on the other hand, he actively worked to prohibit any non-noble people from accessing higher education. So he worked to exclude basically 99% of Russian people from getting an education. So, yeah, very, he had some good qualities and some not so great qualities. He basically thought that Western ideas, just like the way the Tsar thought, they considered Western ideas and Western information and learning to be destructive to the Russian state and the Russian people and culture. And basically, they felt threatened. They felt threatened by all of this new information and learning, and so they didn't want anyone to get their hands on it. So that's just, yeah, in a nutshell, that's the very interesting history around this stone. And I think it just really fits that Aquarius vibe. And Russia, Russia is, I saw, at least from one source, I saw Russia characterized as an Aquarius nation. I think the US is, I want to say, a Taurus. I'm not sure. Anyway, but I think Aquarius, that sign does fit Russia as a whole. But anyway, I was thinking of music for this stone, and it's kind of hard to think what kind of song is going to fit a stone like this, especially with its Aquarian energies. I came up with 2 songs, and so the first song is a Russian alt-rock song that I happened to find a long time ago, back when I first started gaining an interest in Russian culture, Russian language, over 10 years ago. I happened to find this alt-rock song by a Russian band named Naive. And they're out of Moscow. And they had a music video on YouTube for this song called Moje serce nie остановилось. And I kind of loved the song just from the get-go. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the style, like their style is kind of like Green Day, like they're the Russian Green Day. But anyway, Moje serce is there. He's singing about a breakup or a potential breakup, and like telling this girl that he doesn't know what to say, but his heart is still beating, his heart is still beating for her, or he still feels, he's kind of saying like he still feels something, he still feels some love, something to that effect. And I just thought, it's kind of random, but it fits with an Aquarian Russian stone like this. And then the second song is a little bit more related to the theme of embracing your individuality and seeing and accepting yourself. And the song I chose is called The Game Is Over, and it's by Evanescence, one of my all-time favorite bands. And The Game Is Over is from their most recent album, The Bitter Truth, I think it's called. Anyway, that song is really kind of like, you know, enough of the pretenses. This is who I am, in a way. I just thought it kind of fit with that individuality. So, with that being said, please be sure to leave a question or comment down below. I love seeing your comments. I love answering questions. Any kind of questions about stones or metaphysical energy. I will also include links to those 2 songs I mentioned in the description box as well. And as always, thank you so much for vibing with me.